I'd like to welcome you to the February 5th meeting of the Walton County Planning Commission. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend your evening here with us. If for any reason you would like to watch any of our meetings, something that's curious to you, any given month, you can do so on Walton County Facebook Live. These cases that are heard tonight will go before the Board of Commissioners on March the 3rd. Our next monthly meeting would be scheduled for March the 5th. However, we have no agenda for that evening, so we will not have a meeting of the Walton County Planning Commission next month. And I believe this could be the first time since I started, and that's been a good while ago, that I've not had a meeting on a month. So, wow, that's pretty crazy.
We've had it before.
So anyway, thank y'all so much for being here with us this evening. At this time, I'm going to ask Tim Kemp if he will lead us in prayer, and when he finishes the time of prayer, if you all would please join us as we pledge the flag.
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening in thanksgiving and praise. Thanking you for all that you've done and all that you're about to do. Heavenly Father, guide us, direct us, lead us as we make decisions pertaining to this county in which we live in this great state. Heavenly Father, lead us, guide us. We ask you for these blessings in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much for that. At this time, I would like for the record to indicate that all members are present tonight. I would also like to recognize Mark Banks. Mark was formerly District 2 Commissioner, and I guess he's got too much time on his hands or something, I don't know, but he is our at-large member appointed by Commission Chairman David Thompson, and Mark, we're certainly glad to have you part of our group here on the Walton County Planning Commission. So
I didn't really realize that's what this was. I thought it was the finalist for the $1 million drawing, so I showed up.
well, yeah, well that happens to, and as my mom used to say, son, I ain't laughing at you, I'm laughing with you. That happens to us folks that's got this color hair, you know, we go to the wrong place. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Before I open the public format portion of the meeting, I would like to ask if there's any of the members that has a case that you know that may need to be tabled before we actually open up the public format of the meeting. None? We will go ahead. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we will begin with our agenda for the evening. I hope everyone's had an opportunity to look over our minutes from last month's meeting, and if so, if there's no errors or omissions, I will take a motion and a second for approval of those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So just a few things regarding our meeting tonight, protocol. If you have a cell phone, please silence the cell phone for us. We greatly appreciate that. It's courtesy to others. Each case is going to have someone, obviously an applicant that is here. We're going to ask them to step up to the podium, state their name, their address, tell us what their plans are for the property, and what the request is for that property, the use of it. And then we will have a time for opposition. Both opposition and the applicant have 10 minutes, and that's not 10 minutes for every person. It's 10 minutes. So if you're here in opposition and there's others you know for the same case, if you have someone designated that could speak on your behalf as a group, we would greatly appreciate that. If not, if there's more than one person that's going to speak, we would ask that you be courteous in your time and that you allow for others to come up and speak as well. The best way to do that is that once you hear someone speak, really there's no need to come back and reiterate what someone else has had. If you have something new to introduce, we certainly welcome that because we're glad you're here to express concerns. So with that, I'm going to open up the meeting. We do not have any old business on the agenda for this evening, so I'll go right on to the very first case that we have tonight. This is a rezone Z250392 to rezone 3 acres from A1 to R1 to create a buildable lot with a shared driveway. The applicant is Daniel Haywood, owner Walker Haywood. Property is located at 3111 North Sharon Church Road. Is the applicant here? Please step up, state your name, your address, tell us what you need to do with this property, what you're requesting.
My name is Daniel Haywood. The address is 3111 North Sharon Church Road, Loganville. And yes, we are trying to, as it is right now, we can't build a house in front of my father's house due to the zoning. And so my father's come down with dementia and needs full-time care. So we are uprooting our family from Florida, moving them down, and we're going to build plans to build a barn dominium on the lot in front of him and provide him his full-time care. And that's basically it. It's doing God's plan and the journey he's bringing us on, and this is part of it.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the board members? All right, no questions. Certainly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Anyone here in opposition to this request? Okay, step up, sir, state your name and tell us what your concerns are. Just step to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Brad Czeknowski. I live at 3091 North Sharon Church Road, so it's just adjacent to that building. So I'm here to oppose the request to rezone that property. Currently property and directly adjoining are zoned is A1. There are existing R1 zoning in the area to include Roberts Court subdivision across from North Sharon Church and Mary's Path subdivision, which is close. These subdivisions function as a defined resident, while the A1 zoning along with the stretch provides a continuous low-density corridor, helping to preserve the rural character of the neighbor or the area. So rezoning this parcel would represent an incremental expansion of high-density residential zone into that agriculture corridor. Further, in rezoning is approved, it creates a precedent making it difficult to deny similar requests and maintain the county's establishment zoning framework for this area, as well as the expectations of adjacent and nearby property owners. While I understand property owners want flexibility, zoning decisions should balance individual interests with compatibility and long-term planning goals of the county and the broader community. For these reasons, I respectfully ask the Planning Commission to recommend denial of this zoning request. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else opposition? Daniel, you have any rebuttal to what was just said?
The only rebuttal that I have to it is when my father first bought the house in 2006, it was a buildable lot in front of the house, and it was a 3-car garage. And so we bought it, we were at Duke Construction, my father and I, and so we finished out half of the garage and made it a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom for him to live in. So it was a buildable lot to begin with. And I believe the house that he's in too, I've remodeled it before he even bought it and upgraded it. But I plan on making the property a better place to even look at. And I think bringing in the house I want to build should upgrade the property value as far as a comparable house price value for him. To even, I mean, it's just, I just know that this is God's plan and it's going to work out no matter what happens. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Thank you. All righty. So we have heard the applicant and the opposition. We had a time of rebuttal. Is there any discussion that's needed among the board members? If not, I will ask for a motion and a second regarding this request.
Chair, I'd make a motion to approve case number Z250392.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And this will go to the Board of Commissioners on their next monthly meeting, which is March the 3rd, for final approval. All right? Moving on, Z250394. This is to rezone 1.22 acres from A1 to B2 for a used motor vehicle sales. The applicant owner is Ramo Magic. You can correct me when you get here. Property is located at 4743 Highway 81, and Lee Bird Road is the applicant here. The applicant is represented, and I can pronounce your name, by the way.
That's good. Appreciate that. All right. Well, good evening. My name is Andrea Gray. I live at 300 East Church Street, Monroe. And my first zoning case tonight, I have the pleasure of representing Ramo Manjic in his request to rezone 1.22 acres on Highway 81 and Lee Bird Road from A1 to B2. The property you see located here has frontage on both 81 and on Lee Bird Road. You can see it's, I don't want to say island, but it's surrounded by property in the city of Loganville's city limits here, so it's just on the very edge of Walton County. There's an existing house on the property. It's a very cute little house built in 1930. It requires some renovation, but it will be kept as a part of what we're proposing tonight. Here's the street view as you're coming up to the property. This is coming down Highway 81, property being on the left. And as you continue going, this is as you turn on to Lee Bird Road. You can still see the house there with the dirt gravel driveway coming out into the intersection, which I'll address that in a few moments as well. Character area-wise, we're in the neighborhood residential character area, which is consistent with residential and B2 commercial type zonings. The property is zoned A1, and all the properties around it are Loganville zonings. So the R44 and the R16 are Loganville's residential zoning designations. But across 81 is CH, which is Loganville's commercial zoning. And they recently rezoned that 12 acres for a commercial development there. Trends down Highway 81, I know you're well aware of this, but the subject property is circled in yellow, and then the yellow stars represent the B2 and B3 zonings down Highway 81. So this pattern has been, ongoing for the last few years of interspersing some commercial development within residential development, which is really the intent of what this character area is all about. And then you'll see with the blue star, again, the commercial that Loganville recently rezoned across the street. Here's our site plan. You'll see right in the middle, the blue square is where the existing house is located. The whole lot will be paved, so it'll be 43 paved parking spaces to park used cars that will be for sale. There's 5 parking spaces for staff and for handicap accessibility. The entrance will be off of Lee Bird Road, and more on that in just a minute. There'll be a 25-foot transitional buffer with a wood 6-foot privacy fence. And then along all road frontage, so that includes 81 and Lee Bird Road, there'll be a 10-foot landscaped strip there, so look nice on the road frontage there. We'll meet all ordinance requirements for the lighting, downward, inward facing, and handle all stormwater detention on site. The driveway that I mentioned, on the aerial view there, you can see, as I showed from the street view, the current driveway, which, obviously grandfathered, right, kind of just spills out right into the middle of the intersection. Our site plan would move that driveway back away from the intersection so that it would be much more safe. GDOT commented on our application saying that our driveway needed to be at least 100 feet from that intersection. That's no problem at all. Our engineer Tip said, we can move that back even further if need be to make this a much safer entrance in and out from the property. And again, here's a street view as you're coming in and around that corner. So this will move that driveway to a much better location. So operations, regular business hours, only expecting maybe 5 to 10 customers a day, so very low traffic. generated from this project. As you know, now people shop for cars on their phones, Car Guru, Auto Trader. People aren't driving around to lots on a Saturday. They're finding the car they want and then going out to see it. And so my client already runs a very successful business doing this, selling cars through online platforms, but he doesn't have a place to build up inventory and put those cars. And so when he came to me, he said, this is my dream, owning this property and being able to build up my inventory on this, to have the cars for sale, is his dream. So no mechanical work will be done on the site there. No washing, the vehicles will be done there. It's simply a place to store the cars for people to come out and do a final test drive and then go into the home and do the paperwork for the final sale. My client only deals in vehicles that are 10 years old or newer, so kind of a higher end used car market is what he is in. So with that, again, our request is to rezone 1.22 acres from A1 to B2 for the used vehicle sales business. We're not requesting any variances, and all ordinance requirements will be met. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so very much. Any questions from any of the board members? Thank you. Is anyone here in opposition to this request? No opposition to this request. All right. No need for rebuttal. I will bring it back to the board for a motion and a second regarding this application.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a recommendation for denial of this application. I appreciate the applicant's presentation. I disagree that this is an appropriate use in this location. The limited access onto Highway 81, which is the primary commercial corridor there, gives reasons for denial. Also, I believe that the area is primarily currently developed as a residential character, and for those reasons, recommend denial of the application.
Okay, I have a recommendation of denial. Do I have anyone to second that motion?
I second it.
I have a second. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, raise your right hand and say aye. Aye. So 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2. So the motion passes. We'll go before the Board of Commissioners next month with a motion of denial. Next on the agenda for the evening, Z250397. This is to rezone 7.83 acres from R1 to A1 to have personal outside animals. Applicant owner is Jeffrey Bryce and Amy Nicole Carter. Property is located at 2310 Ho-Hum Hollow Road. Is that applicant here? Mr. Butler, please state your name and address for us, for the record.
My name is Ned Butler, address 200 Michael Etchison Road, Monroe, Georgia. I am representing Mr. and Mrs. Carter. What we are looking to do here, this is a subdivision that I believe, if I remember correctly, was rezoned back in 2005 when the developer owned all the property. We subsequently sold this piece, track in the middle where there was an existing home. We are currently developing the subdivision around this home. I know there have been questions. The home will gain access off the interior roads that we are installing for the subdivision. Looking at it before we final platted and they got a lot of new neighbors, their intention was to, since it's an 8-acre tract roughly, to still have some chickens or a cow or two or something like that on a small hobby farm. And so we were just looking to work with them to downzone that to A1 so that they can have a small farm. And I will save the rest of my time for questions and rebuttal.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Is there anyone here in opposition to this request? No one in opposition? You gonna rebut yourself?
No, Mr. Pringle.
Oh, Mr. Pringle has a question.
Yes. Do you know what kind of hoofed animals they're gonna have there?
I know that they've had a cow in the past.
They have a cow in the back?
In the past. They don't
Oh, in the
currently have
past.
one there.
I was gonna
But they-
say,
they've raised a cow and butchered it for personal use, so it's be just something like that.
It's gonna be very limited to what they have?
Yeah, it's per the zoning code, they can have so many animals per acre.
Okay, they know
Yes.
about the regulations and they will follow the rules then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the only question I had.
Sorry, John, I jumped the gun on you.
That's okay.
Thank you, Ned.
I was gonna ask for a little time to ask a question later.
Okay. So let me reconfirm, no one here in opposition to this request. Very good. No need for you to rebut yourself. So I will ask at this time if we have a motion and a second regarding this request. I will take that at this time.
I make a motion to approve case number Z250397 as submitted.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so very much. Next on our agenda for the evening is CU 260001, conditional use on 15.90 acres for a place of worship on Youth Monroe Road. The applicant, Machilio. Thank you, sir, for pronouncing your own name. I greatly appreciate that. Property's located at 3601 Youth Monroe Road. Please state your name, your address, and tell us what your plans are for the property.
My name is Father Manchilo Guade. I am the priest of this church. The property address is 3600 Youth Monroe Street in Monroe, Georgia. On behalf of the Holy Trinity Church, I am formally presenting our intent to develop a new church. Our mission is to serve the community by providing a safe, welcoming, and inclusive environment for worship, fellowship, and community support. Who we are. As you see, I am the pastor of the church, and we are one of you. Professionals assimilating to the American culture, very thankful of the United States of America for welcoming us as immigrants. We are coming to this community because, well, currently we are located in Lilburn, Georgia, and during the last 10 years, we worshiped in Lilburn, Georgia. However, we have a very small amount of land. We have less than an acre of land. Our children do not have a green place to play around, so we decided to find a safe and friendly environment. We did some research and we found Walton County and Loganville to be one of the safest places. So we decided to come here. Our church is designed not only as a place of worship, but also as a hub for positive community impact. Our intended facility will host educational programs for children and adults, including tutoring, workshops, and classes. We have community support initiatives. We have a safe and inclusive spaces for residents to gather for social and cultural events, fostering a stronger neighborhood connections. As to the site and design consideration, we just have presented some church building as a placeholder. So we are willing to take comments from the board, the community, so that we can have a place of worship which is not offensive, which does not depreciate the value of property in the surrounding. So we are willing to welcome any changes in our intended building. To that end, we have parking and traffic management plans because we use only Sundays. We are not going to create any traffic jams during weekdays. We have landscaping and architectural design, which will complement the character of the surrounding community. Our church is known for its environmental stewardship. So we have a plan to plant the remaining land. Our team has engaged experienced architects, engineers, and planners to ensure full compliance with Walton County zoning and ordinance building codes. Our church firmly believes that hard work is the only way to survive in this country. So as a priest myself, I don't take any salary. I have never taken any money from the church. I am by profession an attorney and a trained lawyer. I went to George Washington University in DC. I am admitted to practice law in New York and Georgia, and I practice law with the Northern District of the United States court systems. All my friends, I have Dr. Ted with me today. I have Solomon, who is the IT back-end guy for a bank. The majority of members in our church, most of Ethiopian community lives in Clarkston, Georgia, and Stone Mountain. However, we are assimilated members. We are educated people, so we want to have a better place where we can contribute and assimilate. That's why we chose Loganville, Georgia, and we come with many assets from our country in Ethiopia. Our church welcomes its neighbors. We believe in communion. So according to our belief, the individual person alone is not enough. We need a community to save each other. In conclusion, we are enthusiastic about the opportunity to contribute positively to Walton County and its residents. Our church will provide a safe, welcoming, and community-oriented space. We look forward to working closely with the Planning Commission, and we want to be part of this community. If you have questions, I will be glad to answer.
Thank you, sir. Any question from any of the board members?
Yes, sir. Your site plan doesn't show any access off of Joanne Drive. I just want it to be clear that you are not planning on having any access on Joanne Drive, even though your property extends to Joanne Drive?
We're not.
Okay.
We only the Youth Monroe Street.
Would you be amenable to a buffer along the front right properties there, the first 4 properties?
Yes.
The application states that the facility would be housed in the existing barn temporarily.
Yes.
What are your plans as far as time limit on when you would be starting on the main facility?
Based on the finances and the resources we have, we may use that place maybe 5 years. So we will convert the barn into a usable and safe space. After 5 years, we will start building the main church and the family center.
Would you be amenable to a condition that the barn could only be used for a certain amount of time?
Yes.
Say, based on your timeline there, would 6 years be appropriate?
I believe so.
Okay. Last question. On the development plan, there's a project approach that outlines the different phases, and phase 3 discusses senior housing or some type of assisted living facility. That is not allowed under this proposal, under this conditional use permit. Are you clear on that?
I am clear with that. That is just a concept plan. We thought it's just a concept plan, and if we have the resources, this will be the project as we will be implementing. Otherwise, we don't have any plan at this time to do those other projects.
Okay, and so you would be amenable to a condition that limited to this being just a place of worship?
Yes.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
I've got one question, Josh. Would that stipulate that they could never request that, or that they would have to come back at some point and request?
The condition would just state that it's prohibited. they could come back and
Okay.
request a removal of the condition.
So I want to make sure you understand what he's saying.
I understand. If we have that plan in the future, we will apply to the county.
Thank you.
I have a question.
All right.
You said you have approximately 100 individuals per service. Are any of those individuals from Walton County?
Some are in Walton County, some are in Loganville, but with Gwinnett County side. Some are in Grayson, within the 20-30 minutes driving radius of this place.
So this neighborhood that we're moving into, any individuals from that neighborhood attends church with you all? Or you?
Yes, we will welcome the neighbors to come and worship with us. Our perspective is we are not opposition to the Protestant church or the Catholic church. We are just providing another opportunity for people to see the love of God. So we will welcome the community to come and worship with us.
Okay.
Any other questions?
One more.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned about education.
Yes.
How to explain that to me? I'm big on education, particularly when it comes to
Yes,
children
so far
in
we
church.
teach anger management classes for the young children, teenagers. We provide language education for some members who don't speak English. We provide U.S. citizenship test type education. So it does not necessarily mean formal elementary school type education.
What days, what hours?
So far, our days are Saturday between 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and Sundays after service, after the liturgy.
So no after school.
Oh, no. To this day, we never had any service during weekdays unless prayer after 6 p.m., between 6 to 9 p.m., which maybe 10, 15 families attend.
Okay.
Any further questions? Thank you, sir. Is anyone here in opposition to this request? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is anyone here going to speak on behalf of, do y'all have someone that's speaking on behalf of several people? Okay, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to come up first, and if y'all, the group that's left there, if you can decide, you know, if one of you can speak, I mean, it would be great. Obviously, it's going to be tough in 10 minutes for me to get all of you. And I believe someone back here had their hand up. Is that true? Was somebody back here in opposition? None of y'all back there on the left? Okay. Okay, all right. So if you will talk to anybody that's around you, if you could represent that group and one here. Ma'am, if you please step on up, state your name, tell us what your concerns are with this request.
Yes, sir. My name is Dana Dance, and I live at 3563 Plantation Place, which is the property, the second property in from the beginning of the neighborhood. And I am speaking on behalf of a lot of the residents of the neighborhood and in the community in general, that this is not the type of development for this area right here. You have single-family homes right there across the street, and you have that small bit of woods, and then you have residents in the trailer park right there. That's a large building right there. I'm saying I would like it to be rejected because of property values will plummet. Nobody is going to want to buy a home that has a giant building there with parking lots, and not just that one. They renovate the barn, there's a parking lot there. They're going to build a church, there's a parking lot there. You have, driving to and from the different buildings. That area cannot handle the traffic back and forth. Quality of life, because they're going to have to put lights in the, not besides just the people traffic back through there, you got to put lights up around the thing that are going to be at all hours, because that's for safety reasons. And not only that, it says in the petition that the service was only going to be from 6 a.m. on Sunday from 11 a.m., which means people would have to get there earlier. And that's right up to our back fence. That's headlights, lights, everything. They'd have to be there at 5-something in the morning to get there, to be there in time for service. And as he said, he's talking about services for teaching children, all these other different plans. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot more than just a Sunday service. So now it's Saturday and it's Sunday. And then he said that there'll be youth programs and all types of other programs. This is going to end up being a lot more than what it said. And it's going to make the houses plummet, the property values plummet. Most of us have been living there about 25 years or more, and we've invested a lot of money and time into the area. And I just don't feel like it's the right place. There's plenty of places available for sale, land for sale, all up through Loganville. I just don't feel like right here, right in between all these communities, residential communities, is the place for it.
All right, thank you, ma'am, and appreciate you doing that in an expedited manner. Someone on the second row right here that wanted to speak for a group there? And again, we've heard the concerns of this person in opposition, so if you could tell us something that we've not heard, we would greatly appreciate that.
Good evening. My name is Dr. John Carr. I live about 3,000 feet from the proposed construction here in the church. Naturally, we want to preserve the community, the neighborhood type environment in which we all live. I personally am also the treasurer of the local airport community, Spring Valley Farm Association Incorporated, which is located, depending on where you look at the map, between 1,200 and 1,600 feet from the property. And the proposed structure, a church being 2-3 stories, would not quite be in the best interest of flight safety, the local community, and the neighborhood in general. I'm sure if you tried to build a structure such as this near the Walton County Airport with 1,200 to 1,600 feet, it would never be approved. I'm not trying to deny a place of worship, but there are other ways in which to achieve that. Perhaps if the proposal was approved, a one-story structure which would obviate the safety issue. But that's a minor point for those that are in attendance today. Most people here don't fly, but they have property in the area that want to preserve their natural neighborhood flavor. There are other areas which have open fields and so forth that would be a much better use of land rather than encroaching upon the noise and so forth other people have to endure. The issues that were raised with the sheet that I received when I heard notice of this meeting were that the church would improve property values in the area. I'm not in real estate, but the people that I know were asked that question, and most don't really agree with that. There's no real consensus of opinion if church construction raises or lowers property values. Now, perhaps the church might even be bigger. I don't know, but I just can't see a structure going up in that neighborhood. Yeah, we have water towers not far from there, but that's a different purpose. We have cell phone towers maybe half a mile away. Well, that's certainly not encroaching on anybody's space here. So that's what I have to say, and I'll be happy to give some more time to anyone else who wants to add something in the time I have left.
I've got a quick question for you before you leave. I understand your concerns with flight paths such as that, distance, relationship, and your desires would be that it be mandated as a one-story structure. Yeah, I think we can get some clarification and rebuttal as to what their intent is there. However, my question would be, is there any two-story homes between this site and your airstrip? I'd like to think there probably would be two-story homes between there and the airstrip. Would that be fair?
Not really.
Oh, so there's no two-story homes between where you're at and the airstrip?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll say, I don't know, because I don't live over there, I haven't looked at it, but it'd be hard for me to believe that in that distance, in that area with subdivisions, there's not a two-story home anywhere around there, but I'll take your word for it. Thank you, sir.
Well, if you have 2 flights of stairs going up, I suppose you can maybe make it 1.5, but that 1.5-story house is not going to have a 50-foot tall steeple or antenna on top of it.
Yes, sir. So the restriction then could possibly be the height limit with stippling, any stipple that's on the property, is that what you're saying?
That
Or
would be
the
one, yes.
concern? Okay, thank you. Any other questions for this gentleman? Thank you. Sir, back there in the back. I had somebody, yes, sir. Oh, anybody else? I thought I had somebody else that wanted to speak back there.
Thomas Kent. I live at 3490 East Monroe Road, probably, 1,500, 2,000 feet down East Monroe Road. The property used to belong to Nathan Caswell. Some of you people may know him. He developed that subdivision, and I'm just guessing that one of the reasons he did not develop the spot where his house is at, which is the place they're talking about moving into, is because of the water problem there. All that property, if you'll notice, if you could put that other picture back up there, the strip to the left, it's good like it is. The strip to the left of that property is a swamp. It's solid granite. When it rains, the water goes that way and this way. Yes, we've seen it come across East Monroe Road. I've lived there for 47 years. The place is just not suitable for what they're talking about putting in there. They can't support that church with a septic system. I just don't see how it'll ever work.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for this gentleman? I actually have a couple minutes left if anyone else would like to speak in opposition. Sir, come on up.
Move it down. I'm Dan Brock from 1072 Carter Drive. So I think he answered some of my concerns, which was I drive by that frequently, that area, and I notice a lot of water, standing water, low. I consider it a low spot. I don't know if it was declared as a wetland, but I was wondering if that property was developed, if that's going to be some concern for flooding, because I have seen a lot of standing water in that area. And what would they do to manage that as if it becomes a problem, before it becomes a problem?
So the county itself, through the planning department and development, has a stringent path that has to be followed in regards to stormwater drainage. And so there'll be retention to hold the water that comes off of the property from parking, runoff from the building, such as that. So all of the guidelines that the county uses for every parcel that's built on in this regard, they will have to follow, and they would have to meet that in their design standards and also the concept and plan for development itself of the actual site, the site plan, I should say. So that is managed by planning and development and very stringent on wastewater runoff.
It just seems to me that to bring that up, that water's got to go somewhere. That's all I'm saying. It's a big
Yes, sir.
concern in there.
And that will be managed, again, through stormwater and wastewater runoff. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks for that.
You're very welcome. Any questions for this gentleman? Okay. All right, I have surpassed my time. Just want to check, everybody good over here? Thank you. Is anyone here to speak on behalf of the applicant, in support of the applicant? Yes, sir, if you would please come up.
My name is Robert Mitchell. I'm the owner-manager of Youth Mobile Home Park, which is one property immediately adjacent to said property. I live at 2150 Highway 81 in close proximity to said property. I took the time yesterday to go to Father Guadi's business in Stone Mountain and personally ask him a few questions, specifically and foremost from the standpoint of a Christian. I don't want to bog us down too much in this, but I'm also looking at this from the standpoint of what a Christian would do with regard to this. And everything that I have read, be it from Acts, be it from Paul's letters, should be welcoming to this community here. I think that there is an assumption that the parishioners are straight off the boat refugees, and further that they're not assimilated into the community. Just within the context of our conversation, that is definitely not the case. Also, I think that they will be a positive force within the community, just from the standpoint of what they currently do, where they are situated, and further in line with doing good works in the name of Christ. And also, one of the things that I have heard as an undercurrent here is with regard to the proposed structure, and Father Guadi had talked to this to some extent in his opening remarks, but they are definitely open to changing the structure in whatever manner is beneficial to the community. I guess the best way I could explain it would be make it look a bit more westernized and in line with the current community. Further, I'm going to assume here that some people will also think that I'm here from the standpoint of a future land transaction between myself and them. I have no intention of selling Youth Mobile Home Park to anyone as long as my health is in good shape. So that is not what is going on here. But from the standpoint of, or shall I say in summation, I take Father Guadi's word and believe that he and his parishioners will be good neighbors and a fine addition to the community.
Thank you, sir. I believe I had someone here wanted to speak on behalf of the applicant. Yeah, if you would like to speak on behalf, this is a time for you to speak on behalf of the applicant. You step up, state your name. We greatly appreciate that. Also, give us your address.
Thank you all. My name is Teshome Fassa. I live actually in Norcross. I do not live in Walton, but I am one of the parishioners of Reverend Marchelot. So I just want to explain just what we are trying to accomplish or what are we trying to get. So by profession, so for some people it is a good idea for us to let you know that who we are. So by profession, I'm an IT project manager. I worked for 19 years at Center for Disease Control, and most of my parishioners, most of the people I work with are also with professionals. So I have the privilege to work with Reverend Manchelo for over 10 years. As he mentioned himself, he is not doing it for money because he already has his own job and he never took a salary from us. I was working with him for over 10 years. So the main point I'm trying to make is we are trying to be a good neighbors. I've heard some concerns from some people. I do understand. If that was me, I will understand also. But we will be a good neighbors. We are very conservative about the environment and the community of Walton. And we are trying to preserve everything we have the best way we can to help the community. So I just want to let you know that.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'm going to ask the applicant if you will come back up for rebuttal regarding some of the concerns that were brought up in opposition tonight.
First of all, I'm not going to rebut any of the concerns. That's a very valid concern, and I respect that. Myself, I am a trained land manager. I went to Sweden, and I studied land management. I have a master's degree, and whatever concerns they have is very valid. However, from the perspective of our church, yes, I believe if we develop that 16-acre land, the neighborhood will increase. Because myself, I am planning to move to Walton County, Georgia. My friend Tashoma Fisa, we are considering to buy homes. And the more professional people, the more hardworking people, the more people who preach the value of hard work and American value come to this county, the value of property will increase and crime will decrease. This is one of the safest counties I have ever researched. So our coming will be an addition, and it's going to be a one-story building. So we don't have a plan to build that 5-dome, this big building. Other concerns, I would say let it be the will of God. If it is the will of God, we will come and join you. If not, we will happily accept the decision of the community and the Planning Commission.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions for the applicant at this time?
I have a question. Have you done any researches on the churches here in Walton County?
Yes, I spoke with Commissioner
Dixon?
What's her name? Warren?
Yes.
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 Yes. I did a research on the churches we have down here, and we believe that our coming will be an asset to those churches too. Yes, we did research on the churches.
I said in forms of, in terms of collaborating with those churches.
So I guess I don't want you to be confused.
Yeah.
Tim, can you clarify what your concern is?
You say you want to be an asset to those churches. Are you talking about collaborating with those churches and involving the entire church community?
Yes, actually, I drafted a letter to our neighboring church, to would-be neighboring churches. I have not communicated those to them because of time constraint, but that's our plan. We want to work together. We want to get experience from our existing churches in Walton County, and I believe we will be working together. I mean, we preaching the kingdom of God, and no one is enough to say, I am the only one preaching the kingdom of God. So together, we will bring the difference.
I might differ with that.
And I would agree with that.
Thank you.
The more preaching the gospel, the better.
Yes.
It's
Any further questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for the gentleman before he sits down from the board? Josh, do you have anything else?
I don't.
Okay. So we have heard from the applicant, the opposition, and support for the applicant. Any discussion among the board members? With that, I'll ask for a motion and a second.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a recommendation. I recommend approval of the conditional use permit with the following 5 conditions. Number 1, direct access from the subject property to Joanne Drive shall be prohibited. Number 2, a 25-foot planted buffer shall be required adjacent to the adjoining property lines of lots 19 through 22 of the Caswell Plantation subdivision, more specifically parcel numbers 010, 009, 008, and 007. The planted buffer shall be landscaped with evergreen trees such as Thuga Green Giant, Nellie R. Stevens Holly, Little Jim Magnolia, or Cryptomeria japonica. Trees shall be planted in a double staggered row spaced appropriately for the species used. A minimum of 3 different species shall be used. Number 3, approval shall be limited to a place of worship only. Phase 1 of the project may include the utilization of the existing barn. All appropriate jurisdictional permits required to convert the spaces shall be obtained prior to operation of the place of worship. Utilization of the barn as the primary facility shall be limited to 6 years. An approved extension by the Board of Commissioners shall be required if the time limit runs out. Phase 2 shall include a permanent church facility similar to that which is shown on the plan submitted with the conditional use permit application. Number 4, approval shall be limited to a place of worship. Senior housing, assisted living facilities, or similar uses shall be strictly prohibited. And number 5, all lighting shall meet Walton County lighting standards and be inward-facing, downward directional. That completes my motion.
I've got one clarification. 2 times the mention of place of worship only. Would that also include any tutoring or classes for young children that were mentioned?
Yes,
That would be inclusive of that?
it would.
Thank you. So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No one opposed. This case will go March the 3rd to the Board of Commissioners for final approval. Thank you, sir. You have a great evening. Next on the agenda, Z260002, rezone 5 acres from A1 to R1, from A1 R1 to B3 for a convenience store with gas station, restaurant, and retail space. The applicant is Nikhil Argwal. Owners James Little, Kevin Little, and Kay Haney. Property is located on Good Hope Road, and the bypass is the applicant for this for this request here. Okay, step up, please. Ms. Gray. Yeah. Hey, Andrea, I'm gonna just give them a few minutes to clear out before you start where we can hear you well. All righty. Thank you for being patient with us.
Yes, sir. Well, good evening again. I'm Andrea Gray, live at 300 East Church Street, Monroe, Georgia. My second case tonight is a request to rezone 5 acres for a gasoline station, convenience store, and other retail space. Applicant is Nikhil Agarwal, and the property here is located, again, on Good Hope Road and the new bypass, so right there on the corner, probably the most natural place for a gas station. And the zoning map here, it's currently zoned A1, R1, and surrounded by other properties that are zoned R1, other than those also in the intersection, which we have a B2 and then an office zoning there as well. We're in the employment center character area, which is consistent with commercial zonings and other types of businesses that we're proposing here. Concept plan that we submitted, we've got about a 4,000 square foot convenience store, fuel pumps. We would limit those max of 2 being diesel, so we don't require a conditional use permit as a part of this. We've got space for retail and then also for potentially a fast food restaurant. We don't have commitments for these spaces, so I can't tell you exactly what they would be, but again, this is our concept plan here. You'll see that about half the site is devoted to development, and then the other half would be for septic and the stormwater management, which we would do all on site. We spent a good bit of time working with GDOT on where the entrances would be for this, being that the bypass is new and this would really be one of the first developments on it. And so in coordinating with GDOT, they asked that the entrances be as far away from the intersection as possible. And so that is the plan that we've come up with here. So on the bypass itself, we're proposing a right-in, right-out entry, which requires us to do a little bit of a longer driveway, but that's okay because it's a safer entrance there. On Good Hope Road, we're proposing a full access there so that there'd be good connectivity between the bypass and Good Hope Road, which should help alleviate traffic concerns. My client's fully aware that in having these 2 entrances, he will be responsible financially for improvements required by GDOT to make those entrances safe and to live up to their expectations and their standards. So we're fully aware and willing to make those improvements as needed. Project attributes, again, natural place for a gas station at the, intersection of our new bypass and 83, essentially. We've got dual access points, which will be good for traffic flow there. And then it is a convenient place for people in the area, people passing through on the new bypass, to stop and get gas and food and things that they need on their travels. So again, in sum, our request is to rezone the 5 acres from A1 R1 to B3 for a gasoline station, convenience store with a restaurant and other retail space. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I have none. I have none.
Oh,
You have none, okay, sorry.
we're good.
Just if you all gonna make sure that these board members get reduced gas prices.
Oh, yeah. Anyone here in opposition of this request? No one in opposition? No need for rebuttal? Any additional concerns or discussion among the board members before I open this up for a motion? If not, I will take a motion and a second regarding this request.
I make a motion to approve the presentation as approved.
I have a motion for approval as submitted. I have a second. I have a
Second.
second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No opposition? Good deal. That is the end of our agenda for the evening. One of you two want to step up, and I believe y'all had something that we need to address in-house with you guys.
Yes, we need to vote for chair and vice chair.
Okay?
I nominate Tim Hinton for chairman.
Second.
You accept?
I accept.
All right, so we've got chairman, so vice chair.
I nominate Tim Kemp.
Second.
Second.
Denied.
I make a motion.
Come on, give us, wait.
Nomination cease.
Give us an accept down there, Mr.
I
Kemp.
accept.
He accepts.
You accept, all right.
We good? Anything else for you guys? Nope. Any public comment? No public comment? Yes, ma'am? Christie says no.
I don't
Christie says no.
plan for tractor trailer parking.
No. All righty.
Oh, we have a new, is she an intern?
No, it's our new zoning specialist employee,
Yeah.
Hannah Davis.
This list right.
Hannah, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right. At this time, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Thanks, everybody. See you next month.